it showing? It says that Instagram is hooked up and YouTube is hooked up. I don't see. It's not showing me as live on Instagram. Or on YouTube. So why isn't it working? Yes. Ha! It's working! It's working! Okay. I am supposedly live in like 7 different places right now, so awesome. Let's hope this actually stays how it should be. Anybody who is not on TikTok, I cannot see the chats, unfortunately. But yeah, we're gonna get live on here. Okay. Sweet. It's working. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me get in here on this one so I can do the whoosy what's it. That was loud.
I'm determined.
Go away. Go away. Alright, let me that, get onto here. There I am. Alright. Brain. It's okay, brain. Just do the brainy thing. Okay, so there's that. You're fully charged. You are plugged in. You are not all connected. Some of you are, but... Okay, Facebook is being rude, and so is Twitch. Okay, good to know. Alright, but let's go ahead and send out some... I just liked my own live. I didn't know I could do that. That's great. Alright, let's... Remove background noise, yes. Alright, let me share. Hi. I did the OBS thing, but I couldn't do. I could link everything except for TikTok. So I have TikTok on this, and everything else on this. I think I got it. I'm excited. However, apparently Facebook and Twitch keep reconnecting and disconnecting, and it's being rude. Hello. I'm excited. Okay. I am currently in the middle of chapter 12 of Divinia, A Fate Unwound. I need to so I can see the whole... There we are. If anybody is watching on the non-Tiki-Talkies, I can't see any of your chats. So there's that. My apologies. I'm not ignoring anybody, I just can't see it. Tina returned to the sidelines, her victory etched into the hearts of the spectators. Hello. Alice's attention turned to the next challenger. The beast trial was far from over, and the arena buzzed with anticipation for what was to come. The seer raised her hand to quiet the crowd, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the midday sun. "Our next challenger," she announced, her voice ringing through the Colosseum. "Prigo Crest of Emberfall." The western stands erupted into cheers, though Alice noticed they were less enthusiastic than they'd been for Vienna or Chesta. Prigo stepped forward from the lineup, his smug grin firmly in place as he cast a dismissive glance toward the crowd. All by myself. Stepped forward from the lineup. His smug grin firmly in place as he cast a dismissive glance toward the crowd. His confidence bordered on arrogance, and Alice couldn't help but frown. "Look at him," she muttered to Dirk. "He's acting like he's already won." Dirk's gaze was steady as he watched Prigo. "Confidence can be an asset, but overconfidence can be deadly." The arena gates groaned open once more, and Lethus emerged, his calm and commanding presence drawing the attention of the crowd. Behind him lumbered the Drogue, a towering beast that looked as though it had been forged from the earth itself. The creature's bark-like skin was thick and gnarled, its hulking frame brimming with raw, unrelenting power. My tummy just rumbled. Did that just mess up that take? Haha, it was at the end. I don't have to redo the line. Brimming with raw, unrelenting power. Its claws, each the size of a sword, raked the ground with a slow, deliberate menace. It let out a low growl, its glowing amber eyes scanning the arena before settling on Prigo. Lethus approached the Drogue, placing a hand on its massive head. The beast stilled instantly, its growl quieting to a deep rumble. How did I have Lethus's voice? How long ago in the chapter did he last speak? Let me see if I can find it in my sound thingy. 'Cause he wasn't on my list. Hello, author person. It's just you and me in here at the moment. Okay. The arena gates groaned open once more, and Lethus emerged, his calm and commanding presence drawing the attention of the crowd. That is not... Just 8 in near silence, their focus sharp and... No, it was definitely further in than that. Be the one to wrestle it down. His unease as she caught him staring at her from across the room. Lethus. She shifted in her seat, trying to shake the feeling. Dirk noticed and leaned. It's okay. I figured out a way to do him. I just didn't have like the little sound clip to go back to. And I didn't think about it because I thought I was going to do the whole chapter in one go. However, my buddy said no. Let's see. How far in? Do not fear, champion. I think that's what it was. Then leaned closer. Let him look, he murmured. You've got better things to focus on today. She nodded. Not further than that. It's the best one I've got, he said with a small smile. Just wait and see. You might be surprised. She nodded, her thoughts drifting to the remaining competitors. Each had their strengths, but the stakes were higher than ever. Today wasn't about shadows or It is kind of weird, like, listening back to it, because, like... Today, our champion... I've been working towards this for so freaking long that, like, hearing myself recording a book is insane. A ripple of murmurs ran through the crowd, and Alice's stomach twisted. These are no shadows, the seer continued. Ooh, I'm close. Dirk didn't answer immediately, his jaw tightening as he listened to the seer. Been chosen specifically to test you. Face them with honor, and remember, surrender is always an option. Okay, so about a minute further. Competitors as they lined up, their faces a mixture of focus and apprehension. She spotted Justa Valance stepping forward, her dark hair gleaming in the sun. The crowd erupted in cheers, the sound reverberating through the Colosseum like a roar. She's first, Alice said, her voice barely audible over the noise. Dirk nodded, his eyes fixed on the arena floor. Let's see what she's made of. The Colosseum buzzed with anticipation as the seer stepped forward once more. No, there's still another minute or so before I hear his voice, because it's a whole page. Our champions, but the ancient beasts who served as their challengers. So just their challengers? No, further. Mute. Just the Valance of Selenia. Step forward. Ooh, was that on the recording or was that my mic? Step forward. Oof. I need to mark that spot. Step. I need to re-record. Step forward. I need to re-record that line. Into the center of the arena. Her dark hair shimmered in the sunlight. The creature moved with lizard-like fluidity, its powerful limbs tensed and ready to strike. Its mouth, filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth, opened in a low growl that reverberated through the Colosseum. Lethus approached the beast. Hi! His presence calm and commanding. Placing a hand on its massive head, he whispered something inaudible. Sorry, I'm trying to find a voice. I'm almost there, though. Still. Turning to Justa, Lethus spoke in a voice that carried across the arena. Do not fear, champion. Okay, yeah. I actually had it right. Sweet. Now I just need to find the spot in the chapter. Do not fear, champion. Alright, let me underline where I'm at in the chapter. Excuse me, I said underline it, thank you. Underline, thank you. It's not cooperating. Oh, my teeth are fake. So no, I do not use any whitening products. Okay, switch this back to viewing so I don't accidentally edit it again. It only takes once. Thank you. I bought the spendy ones so that you couldn't tell that I was 29 with dentures. Okay, here we go. Growl quieting to a deep rumble. Oh, come on, don't do that. That's bright. Accidentally went to the beginning of the transcript. Great. Alright. Let me just do Control F so I can... It's growl quieting to a deep rumble. To a deep rumble. There it is. Thank you. Control F. Again, if anybody is watching anywhere other than TikTok, I cannot see anything you are saying if you are in the chat. And I apologize for that. I will try to figure that out eventually. This is the Drogue, Lethu said, his voice calm but firm. Its strength is unmatched, its endurance legendary. But like all creatures, it respects power and resolve. Show it yours, or yield before it can claim your life. Or yield before it can claim your life. Yay! Okay. How's everybody doing? Well, the one person in here. I appreciate you hanging out. Alright, let me... Whoop, nope, let's switch that back. There we go. Switch that to viewing. There we go. Prego didn't respond. And there's somebody home. Sorry, my mic is really sensitive and it will pick up their steps and everything, so just gotta wait. Yes, my dear. I am currently live, so you are aware.
Okay, I was just letting you know that we were home.
Okay. Everybody have fun?
They did. We had a good time, and I'll tell you more later. I just wanted you to know that we were safe and live. They're fixing to eat, and I do need the bleach to do hair. Do you know where it is?
Should be in the box, still in the pink bathroom.
Okay, so just look in the pink bathroom.
Yeah, there should be the pink box because it's the unicorn one.
Okay, thank you, Debbie.
Lyle.
Love you, bye.
Okay. Let her get back through the hallway. And the doors close, and then I can record. This is why I typically do recording at like midnight, but nobody's ever online, so... Yield before it can claim your life. Prego didn't respond. He simply rolled his shoulders, his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his sword as he watched the Drogue with an unreadable expression. Lethu stepped back, signaling the start of the trial. The Drogue roared, its powerful legs propelling it forward with surprising speed. It swiped one massive claw at Prego, but he leapt back, evading the strike with ease. The crowd cheered at the start of the battle, but their excitement quickly turned to confusion as Prego continued to dodge every attack without drawing his weapon. The Drogue growled in frustration, slamming its claws into the ground and sending tremors through the arena floor. Prigo sidestepped the attack, his movements fluid and precise. But he made no move to strike back. "What's he doing?" Alice asked, her brow furrowed. Dirk's jaw tightened. "He's toying with it." The drogue roared again, its bark-like skin glinting as it twisted to strike at Prigo with its massive claws. Each attack was met with an effortless dodge, and the crowd began to boo. The once energetic atmosphere turned restless as Prigo danced around the creature, refusing to engage. That had mouth noises. Refusing to engage. Yup. Delete the mouth noises. Hello. Thank you for joining. I appreciate. Feel free to check out my tree of links. It has all of my, well, it has most of my social media stuff on there, as well as a few Amazon thingamabobs. And any assistance is appreciated, but not required. Okay. Prigo danced around the creature, refusing to engage. Minutes dragged by, and the drogue grew visibly agitated, its strikes becoming more erratic as Prigo continued his evasive maneuvers. The crowd's boos grew louder, their frustration echoing through the Colosseum. "Fight it already!" Ooh, that spiked. Ow. Alright, let me do that from a little bit further back. "Fight it already! Fight it already!" That works. Someone shouted from the stands. Even Jesta, standing on the sidelines, crossed her arms with a bemused smirk. Hands. Even Jesta, standing on the sidelines, crossed her arms with a bemused smirk. What's his game? Oh, fuck, what was her voice? Cool, calm, collected. She's the cool one. "What's his game?" she muttered, just loud enough for Vienna to hear, and there's teenagers in the background. So how's everybody doing? If anybody would like to chat, the only chat that I can see is on the TikTok. All of the other places that I am streaming, I cannot see the chats, unfortunately. So I don't even know, like, if I have any viewers, but that makes it less stressful and more stressful at the same time. It's rather odd. Anyway. Sounds like the teenagers are done moving through the house. I forgot to silence my phone. Alrighty, temporary mute. That is one cool thing. My phone has a temporary mute function now. So, like, I'm able to just do 1, 2, or 3 hours. So I just set it to 3 hours and don't have to worry about whether or not I remember to turn my vibration back on. Thank you so much for the likes. I really appreciate it. And that helps push it out to so many more people. Okay. Did I just record all of that with the heater on? What's his game? Can I hear it? What's his game? Can I clear it? Fuck. Noise reduction, get noise profile. Generate effect. Noise reduction. Okay. What's his game? Fuck. I have to re-record everything. I really appreciate it. And that helps push it out to so many more people. Okay. Alright, I have to redo everything I just did because I had my heater going. Their frustration echoing through the Colosseum. This is the drone. Lethus. Hi, Tanner. I know. If you ever come near Chattanooga, let me know, because I'm not too far from there. And I also am like 2 hours from Birmingham, Atlanta, Murfreesboro, Knoxville, and like 2.5 hours from Nashville, if you ever go to any of them. Look at him. Prego crest. That was today. Here we go. To the spectators. Spectators. Where is that word? There it is. It's not necessary. Alright, I have to redo everything I just did because I had my heater going. Their frustration echo. An hour and a half north of Birmingham? How close are you to Chattanooga? But for the polygrip, the uppers are suctioned, so like they stay in place on their own, and the lowers I don't have a total, I only have a partial, so they actually hook onto my teeth. Okay. Etched into the hearts of the spectators. I don't know where Florence is. I don't really know anything about Alabama, to be honest. I just know that I'm right next to it. I'm really glad that I realized my heater was on now and not at the end of my recording session, though. That would have sucked. Drink ice coffee. Okay. Alice's attention turned to the next challenger. I didn't have my... There we go, now I can hear myself. La 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 la. Alright. Alice's attention turned to the next challenger. The beast's trial was far from over, and the arena buzzed with anticipation for what was to come. Sorry. I miss you too. Need to come see me. I have a new teenager you need to meet. Anticipation for what was to come. Excuse me, there it is. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. The seer raised her hand to quiet the crowd, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the midday sun. Our next challenger, she announced, her voice ringing through the Colosseum. "Prigo, crest of Emberfall." The western stands erupted into cheers, though Alice noticed they were less enthusiastic than they'd been for Vienna or Gesta. Prigo stepped forward from the lineup, his smug grin firmly in place as he cast a dismissive glance towards the crowd. Okay, I said it right. His confidence bordered on arrogance, and Alice couldn't help but frown. "Look at him," she muttered to Dirk. "He's acting like he's already won." Dirk's gaze was steady as he watched Prigo. "Confidence can be an asset, but overconfidence can be deadly." I just heard my teenager didn't pick up on the thing. Confidence can be an asset, but overconfidence... Yeah. I heard her. That's why I have it to where I can hear myself. Aww. I know. Yeah, I know, because, like, I left while you were pregnant. With Connor. I haven't met Luna yet. But then again, I haven't seen you since 2015? Is when I came to visit Oklahoma last? Yeah. Prior to 2015. Dirk's gaze was steady as he watched Prigo. Confidence can be an asset, but overconfidence can be deadly. The arena gates groaned open once more, and Lethus emerged, his calm and commanding presence. It has. Travel sucks, though. Let's see. Lethus emerged, his calm and commanding presence drawing the attention of the crowd. Behind him lumbered the Drogue, a towering beast that looked as though it had been forged from the earth itself. I can do better than that. A towering beast that looked as though it had been forged from the earth itself. A towering beast that looked as though it had been forged from the earth itself. Yee. I'm actually reading my very first audiobook contract. It is Divinia, A Fate Unwound. As far as I know, there's nothing spicy in here. I don't think so, because the main character is 17. And there wasn't any... what's it? Alert? I can't brain right now. I'm sorry. I spent a lot of time figuring out how to do the OBS thing, and then I could get it to connect to every single one of my streaming things except for TikTok. It feels spicy. No, it's attacks. It's the trials between a bunch of warriors. And be sure to follow the Savanna Brown VO that is also currently in here. It's actually me, because, yeah. As soon as I get enough people on that one, that's the TikTok that I'll be going live on. But I'm also streaming on both of my YouTubes and on my Twitch and on my Facebook. And it's neat. As though it had been forged from the earth itself. The creature's bark-like skin was thick and gnarled, its hulking frame brimming with raw, unrelenting power. Did I just stumble over that? Brimming with raw, unrelenting... I did. Dinkle! Thick and gnarled. its hulking frame brimming with raw, unrelenting power. Its claws, each the size of a sword, braked the ground with a slow, deliberate menace. It let out a low growl, its glowing amber eyes scanning the arena before settling on Prigo. Lethus approached the drogue, placing his hand on its massive head. The beast stilled instantly. Its growl to... I skipped ahead in the words. The beast stilled instantly, its growl quieting to a deep rumble. "This is the drogue," Lethu said, his voice calm but firm. "Its strength is unmatched, its endurance legendary. But like all creatures, it respects power and resolve. Show it yours, or yield before it can claim your life." Sorry, I hear a conversation in the background getting loud. Claws, each the size of a sword, braked the ground with a slow, deliberate menace. It let out a low growl, its glowing amber eyes scanning the arena before settling on Prigo. Lethus approached the drogue, placing his hand on its massive head. The beast stilled instantly, its growl to... I skipped ahead in the words. The beast stilled instantly, its growl quieting to a deep rumble. "This is the drogue," Lethu said, his voice calm but firm. "Its strength is unmatched, its endurance legendary. But like all creatures, it respects power and resolve. Show it yours, or yield before it can claim your life." Sorry, I hear a conversation in the background getting loud. There's a bunch of teenagers in the house because they had their 8th grade homecoming on Thursday. So we had a slumber party. Oh, thank you. I'll have to send you one of the homecoming pictures. And you'll be able to guess which of the kids is mine. Actually, let me go ahead and... While they're being loud and I can't do anything. Oh, you're so cute. Alright, where's the Discord? Okay. Image saved, okay. It's time to play Who's the Main Character? Okay, they quieted down. Before it can claim your life. But dude, we found that dress for $5 thrifting, and it still had the tag on it. It was a $150 bridesmaid dress. And it was a little bit tight, so we just like changed the back to a corset, and it was perfect. Before it can claim your life. Prigo didn't respond. He simply rolled his shoulders, his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his sword as he watched the drogue with an unreadable expression. Lethu stepped back, signaling the start of the trial. The drogue roared, its powerful legs propelling it forward with surprising speed. It swept one massive claw at Prigo, but he leapt back, evading the strike with ease. The crowd cheered at the start of the battle, but their excitement quickly turned to confusion as Prigo continued to dodge every attack without drawing his weapon. Yeah, that is my spawnling. As Prigo continued to dodge every attack without drawing his weapon. Like, the first time she and I met, I'm just like, yeah, you're my kid. Yeah, you're right. I swear, all of my kids are related to me, even though they're not related to me. Attack without drawing his weapon. The drogue grabbed, and she's, I think she just. I don't know what she's yelling about. The drogue growled in frustration, slamming its claws on the ground and sending tremors through the arena floor. Prigo sidestepped the attack, his movement fluid and precise, but he made no move to strike back. What is he doing? Alice asked her bro. Her bra. I miss you too. Alice asked her bro. Alice asked her bro. Alice asked, her brow furrowed. Dirk's jaw tightened. He's toying with it. The drogue roared again, its bark-like skin glinting as it twisted to strike at Prigo with its massive claws. Each attack was met with an effortless dodge, and the crowd began to boo. The once energetic atmosphere turned restless as Prigo danced around the creature, refusing to engage. Minutes dragged by, and the drogue grew visibly agitated, its strikes becoming more erratic as Prigo continued his evasive maneuvers. The crowd's boos grew louder, their frustration echoing through the Colosseum. "Fight it already!" someone shouted from the stands. Even Jesta, standing on the sidelines, crossed her arms with a bemused smirk. "What's his game?" she muttered, just loud enough for Vienna to hear. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Prigo leapt back, putting that was a weird eternity emphasis on the wrong syllable. It does? Okay, let me... Why? It says I have full bars. Let me check my modem. Yeah, my connection's very good. I don't know why it's being stupid. I'm sorry about that, though. It might be because it's a phone that's not active and I'm just doing it through the Wi-Fi. But the only things currently connected to that modem are the laptop doing this stream and the phone that is doing the stream through TikTok. So it shouldn't be affecting it too much. Let's see here. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Prigo leapt back, putting significant distance between himself and the drogue. That was Minnesotan. Self and the drogue. Yeah, I said drogue. Drogue. Back. Putting significant distance between himself and the drogue. For the first time, he drew his sword, its blade gleaming in the sunlight. Alice leaned forward, her heart pounding. Is he finally going to... My nose made a weird noise during that when it went... Her heart pounding. Is he finally going to? Prigo hurled the sword with deadly precision. The blade soared through the air, piercing the drogue's head with a sickening crack. The creature let out a guttural roar before collapsing to the ground, its massive frame hitting the arena floor with a thunderous crash. Did I just say thunderous? Thunderous crash. Yep.
Okie dokie, I got you.
Feel free to come pester should you like to have me on in the background. The floor with a thunderous crash.
I said the same thing.
Thunderous. Thunderous. Thunder. With a thunderous crash. With a thunderous crash. With a thunderous crash. Arena floor with a the arena floor with the arena floor with, and I'm just going to do the whole sentence. Okay. The ground. The ground. Its massive frame hitting the arena floor with a thunderous crash.
Hey, I did it.
Oh, you too. Floor with a thunderous crash. The crowd fell silent. And there's a motorcycle going by.
Thank you for all the likes and everything. I appreciate you guys.
Let me see if I can do another round of inviting peoples. I highly doubt that any of these people are going to pop in. However, one can hope.
Okay, I have
Sent out.
more invites.
Okay. And then or with a thunderous crash. The crowd fell silent, stunned by the abrupt end to the battle. Prigo smirked, raising his hands to the crowd as if he expected applause. Instead, the silence was broken by a few scattered boos and murmurs of disbelief. My brain skips words again. Murmurs of disbelief. The seer stepped forward, her expression unreadable as she addressed Prigo.
Prigo Crest of Imberfall, you have completed the trial in 18 minutes and 13 seconds.
A collective gasp! A collective gasp rippled through the crowd as the seer's voice rang out again.
You have been eliminated. Vienna Host of Imberfall holds the faster time.
might help if I actually read the full sentence before I...
Vienna Host of Imberfall holds the
Vienna House of Imberfall holds the fastest time and will represent Imberfall in the final trial.
It's a really, really long sentence. Eliminated. Vienna Host of Imberfall holds the faster time and will represent Imberfall in the final trial.
Alice's jaw dropped, her gaze darting between Prigo and the seer. The smug grin on Prigo's face faltered for only a moment before he regained his composure. He gave a mocking bow to the crowd, his arrogance intact despite the announcement. Did he just lose on purpose? Alice asked, her voice incredulous. Dirk's expression darkened. I don't know, he said quietly, his tone grim. But I don't like it. Prigo walked off the arena floor, his confidence unshaken as he joined the king's entourage. From the sidelines, Jesta laughed softly, shaking her head. Unbelievable. The Colosseum buzzed with whispers and speculation, the crowd struggling to make sense of what they just witnessed. Alice watched Droog's massive body being hauled away. Might help if I read the sentence the way it's actually written. Actually, I need to do the posty thing. There we go. Just witnessed. Alice watched as the Droog's massive body was hauled away, its defeat overshadowed by the questions surrounding Prigo's actions. The seer raised her hand, silencing the murmurs.
Our final challenger,
She announced, her voice steady.
is Moro Coswo of Selenia.
The crowd's murmurs quieted as Moro Coswo of Selenia stepped forward. Quieted as Moro Coswo of Selenia stepped forward. Okay, the mic can't hear her. I just can. Alright. Just want to make sure. Coswo of Selenia stepped forward. His lean frame radiating confidence despite the tension hanging heavy in the air. And she's getting louder. Did it pick her up that time? In confidence despite the tension hanging heavy in the air. Only at the end. Okay, cool. That's what has been deleted. It wasn't while I was talking. The Selenian contingent roared their support from the eastern stands, their cheers echoing across the arena. Alice leaned forward in her seat, her unease still lingering after Prigo's bizarre display. She studied Moro, his calm demeanor and determined stride a stark contrast to the chaos of the beast trial so far. From the northern gate, Lethus emerged once more. His presence commanded silence as he led a sleek black house cat to the arena. I'm sorry, what? I stumbled over the sentence as I was reading it, 'cause what? His presence. Hold on. His presence commanded silence as he led a sleek black house cat into the arena. And hold out, Rana. My help was enunciate. His presence commanded silence as he led a sleek black house cat into the arena. The crowd erupted into laughter, their amusement rippling through the Colosseum like a wave. It's a joke, right? Alice muttered, glancing at Dirk. Dirk's gaze remained fixed on the arena. "Just watch, Alice," he said, his tone somber. "Remember." Oh, his tone's somber. Hold on. Just watch. "Just watch, Alice," he said, his tone somber. "Remember, not everything is as it seems." Lethus ignored the laughter, his focus entirely on the small, unassuming creature at his side. He knelt and placed his hand gently on its head. The cat's glowing amber eyes locked onto his, and in an instant, its form began to shift. The laughter died abruptly as the cat's sleek body flickered and warped. It grew larger, twisting into a hulking frame of the... Might help if I actually read the sentence correctly. Twisting into the hulking, glinting in the sunlight. A collective gasp swept through the crowd as the Gretch melted away, replaced by the grotesque fusion of a spider and snake that was the Stygon. Its armored thorax gleamed menacingly before it shifted again, this time into the towering, bare-skinned Drogue. Finally, the beast returned to its original form, glinting in the sunlight. A collective gasp swept through the crowd as the Gretch melted away, replaced by the grotesque spider and snake that was the Stygon. Its armored thorax gleamed menacingly before it shifted again, this time into the towering, bare-skinned Drogue. Finally, the beast returned to its original form, the sleek black house cat, its amber eyes glowing brighter than ever. "This," Lethus announced, his voice resonating with authority. He rose to his feet and stepped away, his presence as commanding as ever. The seer's voice rang out, silencing the stunned crowd.
"Your trial begins now."
Dude! This is why I only like skimming the books, because then I'm able to be like, ah! At the same time. Sorry. There's a spot back here that I need to fix for the paragraph. There we go. And let me take it back out of editing mode. Back into viewing mode. Alright. Let's start with the Shadow Cat, shall we? And again, if anybody is watching me not on the TikTok, I cannot see you. I unfortunately do not have access to those chats. I'm not sure how to do that. If anybody knows how, please message me. I would greatly appreciate it. But if you would like to talk to me directly, Sassy Kyra on TikTok is the one that I'm able to see. But yeah, okay. Next thingy.
"Your trial begins now."
The Shadow Cat wasted no time. Its sleek form blurred, shifting into the wire-fanged Gretch and charging at Morrow with terrifying speed. Morrow finding precision. Oh, good. Right at the end, so it didn't sound like it. Sweet. He rolled to his feet and slashed at the Gretch with his sword, landing a glancing blow that elicited a guttural growl from the beast. The crowd erupted into cheers, their energy rekindled by the ferocity of the battle.
"Hi. Haven't pestered you in a minute."
Alice's heart pounded as she watched Morrow maneuver through the Shadow Cat's relentless attacks. "He's good," she whispered, gripping the edge of her seat. Dirk nodded, his eyes never leaving the arena. "But it's not just giggle he'll need. That creature doesn't play by the rules." As this to proof. His eyes never leaving the arena. "But it's not just giggle he'll need. That creature doesn't play by the rules. As this to proof.
Drink iced coffee.
As if to prove Dirk's point, the shadow cat shifted again, its form melting into the grotesque Stygon. It lunged at Morrow, its danger-like legs. Stabbing.
Steady.
It lunged at Morrow. It's it's dagger. No wonder my brain couldn't wrap around that. It's danger like legs. Really, brain? Dagger. Okay. It's dagger like legs, and I laughed at that one. I can't laugh at that.
Anyways.
Its dagger-like legs stabbing at him with deadly precision. Morrow deflected the... Can't laugh at that.
Anyways.
Its dagger-like legs stabbing at him with deadly precision. Morrow deflected the strikes with his blade, each clash echoing through the arena but like a thunderclap. Like a thunderclap. I did stumble over that. Each clash echoing through the arena like a thunderclap. Each clash echoing through the arena like a thunderclap. There we go. The Stygon hissed, its venomous fangs dripping with deadly intent. It snapped at Morrow, who barely managed to duck in time. Seizing the opening, he slashed at the creature's thorax. Bloodcat shifted once more, this time taking the form of the drogue. Its massive frame towered over Morrow, and the bark lighted his strikes with ease. It let out a guttural roar. Did I say that right? Let out a guttural roar. Nope. Bang across the sand. The crowd roared its approval, but the fight was... Curse you, eroticism! You like to rear your ugly head at the worst times. It let out a guttural roar, swiping at him with claws the size of swords. Morrow dodged left, then right, his movements growing more desperate as the beast cornered him. He swung his sword in a wide arc, managing to land a blow that sent the drogue reeling momentarily. But the victory was short-lived. The drogue leapt forward, its massive claws crashing into the sand where Morrow had stood moments before. The force of the impact sent a shockwave rippling through the arena, and Morrow stumbled, his footing unsteady. Before he could recover, the shadow cat shifted again, reverting. Shifted again. Reverting to its scratch form. Its whip-like tail lashed out, striking Morrow with a sickening crack and sending him sprawling to the ground. Alice gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. "Get up," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Please, get up." Morrow struggled to his feet, his breaths ragged. The shadow cat shifted once more, taking on the drogue's massive form. It moved with terrifying speed, closing the distance between them in the blink of an eye. With a final devastating swipe, its stone-like claws tore across Morrow's face and neck. He staggered, blood spraying into the air, before collapsing to the ground. The crowd fell silent, the weight of what had just happened settling over the Colosseum like a shroud. Alice screamed, the sound raw. Hold on. The sound raw and filled with anguish. She grabbed Dirk's arm, burying her face in his shoulder as tears streamed down her cheeks. "No," she whispered, her voice breaking. "No, no, no." Dirk held her close, his own expression grim as he watched the Solarian attendants rush to the arena floor. They worked quickly to remove Morrow's lifeless body, their movements efficient but reverent. The seer stepped forward, her voice heavy with solemnity.
Morrow Coswo has fallen. Let us honor his bravery and sacrifice, for he fought with great courage. Tonight, we will remember him.
The crowd, though subdued, rose to their feet in a show of respect. The chants and cheers of earlier had given way to show of respect. The chants and cheers of earlier had given way to a quiet reverence, the reality of the trial sinking in for all who bore witness. Alice clung to Dirk as the crowd began to disperse. Her heart ached. The image of Morrow's... None of my stuff is connecting right now. That's great. Alrighty. The weight of the day hung heavy over them. But for Alice, one thought lingered above all else. Tomorrow, a champion would be crowned, and the trials would finally come to an end. The Colosseum emptied slowly, the usual cheers and chatter of the departing. What are you doing, Fawn? Rude. There we go. Sorry, it was having me do drag the puzzle piece thing. And the puzzle piece was not wanting the puzzle piece. So that you can see the mic. There we go. Alright. The Colosseum emptied slowly. The usual cheers and chatter of the departing crowd replaced by a heavy, somber silence. The weight of Murrow's death hung over everyone, a grim reminder of the trial's deadly stakes. Alice walked alongside Dirk, her steps slower than usual, her heart still aching from the scene she had just witnessed. Behind them, the Emberfall competitors trudged back towards their quarters, their earlier camaraderie subdued by the events of the day. Magra and Bragin exchanged quiet words, their expressions solemn, while Vienna walked slightly ahead, her posture tense but resolute. Ahead of the group, Prigo Crest strolled, Prego Crest strolled with the king's entourage, his head held high and a smug grin plastered across his face. His laughter rang out loudly, jarring the quiet atmosphere, and Alice's hands clenched into fists at her sides. "What's so funny?" she muttered, her anger bubbling to the surface. Dirk glanced at her but said nothing, his jaw tightening as he kept his eyes on Prego. Prego, as if sensing Alice's glare, glanced over his shoulder and caught her eye. His grin widened, and he gave her a slow, mocking bow. The gesture sent Alice over the edge. Without thinking, she raised her hand and flipped him off, her anger spilling over into the gesture. Dirk nudged her sharply. "Alice," he said in a low, warning tone. "Be nice." "He's insufferable," she shot back. She shot back, her voice trembling with frustration. Dirk didn't respond, his attention shifting back to Prego, who was now walking ahead without a care in the world. Back at the Imberfall quarters, the mood remained heavy. The competitors settled into the main hall, their exhaustion evident in the way they moved. Margaret tried to lighten the mood with a joke about Brooke's earlier struggles with the wind trials, and to everyone's surprise, Brooke laughed along, his booming chuckles cutting through the somber air. "You have to admit," Brooke said, grinning, "I hadn't had a bath in a few days. Falling into the water twice was exactly what I needed. And your nose is needed at it as well. And your nose is needed at it as well. And your nose is needed it as well. And your
Meow.
And your nose is needed it as well. The group laughed quietly, the sound tentative but welcome after the events of the day. Even Vienna managed a small smile, her usual stoicism softening for a moment. Prego, however, was nowhere to be found. He had gone off with the king's party, his absence both a relief and a source of frustration for the Imberfall competitors. Later that night, Alice sat on the edge of her bed, her thoughts swirling. Dirk entered the room, his expression calm but weary. He sat beside her, the weight of the day settling into his shoulders. "I can't stop thinking about Morrow," Alice said quietly, her voice tinged with sadness. "He didn't deserve that." Dirk sighed, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "No one deserves a death like that," he said, his tone measured. "But he fought honorably, Alice. Most people don't get to leave this world with that kind of dignity. He was a great warrior, and he'll be remembered as one." Alice leaned into him, finding comfort in his steady presence. "It just seems so unfair," she murmured. Dirk nodded, his gaze distant. "It always does," he said. "But that's the way of the trials. They demand everything." As the room fell into a comfortable silence, Alice pulled back and looked up at him. "Tomorrow, Vienna's going to kick ass," she said, her tone brightening slightly. Dirk chuckled, a rare warmth in his voice. "I believe she will," he agreed, his stern demeanor softening. Alice hugged him tightly.
Hello.
Alice hugged him tightly, the embrace lingering as she drew strength from his unwavering presence. "I love you, Dad," she said, her voice muffled against his chest. Did that sound muffled? I hope that sounded muffled. Her voice muffled against his chest. She said, her voice muffled. Oh, Dad. She said, her voice muffled against his chest. Maybe I should actually muffle it. That would probably be... Come here, Leonardo. I need your assistance.
Everybody meet Leonardo. Leonardo.
Ow! Motherfucker! That sucked. Okay, so. Hugged him tightly. I love you, Dad, she said, her voice muffled against his chest. I love you, Dad, she said, her voice muffled against his chest. It worked. Thank you, Leonardo.
I can't say your name,
but you know I love you. I love you too, Alice, he replied, his hand resting gently on her back. As she lay in bed, the day's events replayed in her mind. The image of Moreau's final moments haunted her, but so did the memory of Vienna's triumph and Justa's elegance in battle. The trials had revealed both the best and the worst of those who competed, and tomorrow would decide everything. Her eyelids grew heavy, and she let herself drift off to sleep. Her thoughts filled with the promise of the final trial, and the hope that Emberfall's champion would rise to the occasion. Outside, the city of Solaria glowed softly under the light of the dual moons, a serene contrast to the storm of emotions within the Emberfall quarters. The trials were kneeling. The trials were nearing their end. The trials were nearing their end. The trials were nearing their end. The trials were nearing their end, and the fate of the competitors hung in the balance.
Ta-da!
That is the end of chapter 12. I need to take a break, because I have been doing this for over an hour, and my back is very mad at me. So, I am sorry, everybody. However,
Let me go ahead and save this. Save project.
Trying to do this so that I can just... No, that's not gonna work. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, that one is in place. Alright, let me... Guess who forgot to turn their mic back on after they came back from break? Well, at least that sentence is going to sound really good now. No wonder I could barely hear myself. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay. Chapter 13. The Final Trial. The Colosseum buzzed with the electric anticipation. Of course I mess it up. The Colosseum buzzed with electric anticipation. The roar of the crowd, a living thing that filled every corner of the massive arena. Alice sat perched on the edge of her seat, her fingers gripping the smooth, warm stone. Around her, banners bearing the symbols of Emberfall and Selenia waved in the breeze, their colors bold against the clear blue sky. Below, the competitors, both those still vying for victory and those already eliminated, stood in a solemn line. Each of them bore the weight of what had brought them here, and the sacrifices made along the way. Suddenly, a brilliant light erupted at the arena's center, washing over the competitors and the crowd. Alice shielded her eyes, blinking as the Divine Council materialized. Was the at me forgetting to turn on the mic? Because, oops. Alice shielded her eyes. My fan is being loud. Are you not getting enough air? Can you guys still see me okay on this one? No. Okay, that's better. Gotta let my fan calm down because it's being loud in the background.
Hi. Drink iced coffee. Pink-a-tick.
Okay, that's better. Alice shielded her eyes. What do you mean even when I'm scrambling?
But thanks. I stole my mommy's face.
Alice shielded her eyes, blinking as the Divine Council materialized behind the warrior. Materialized behind the warriors. Materialized behind the warriors. Materialized behind the warriors.
Materialized behind the warriors.
Materialized. Blinking as the Divine Council materialized behind the figure, radiating a unique, almost overwhelming presence. Venta's robes swirled like storm clouds. Vellum's towering figure exuded strength and permanence, and the seer, ethereal and luminous, seemed to glow with an inner light.
Thank you for reposting. I appreciate.
I'm hoping to get through at least one more chapter tonight. I have a lot of appointments in the next week, so I don't think I'll be able to focus a lot on the actual recording part, but I'll be able to focus enough to do the editing portion. But I'm going to have too many emotions to be able to do other people's emotions. Because, yeah. Seem to glow with an inner light. The seer stepped forward, her silver eyes surveying the crowd. As she raised her hands, the noise in the Colosseum faded to a perfect hush, as if the world itself paused to listen. Alice's heart pounded as the seer began to speak, her voice steady and melodic, filling the vast space with ease.
Champions of Divinia, the time has come,
the seer announced, her voice resonating like a chime across the vast arena.
After days of trials, testing strength.
I need to redo the pacing on that one.
After days of trials testing strength, skill, endurance, and the indomitable spirit of our competitors, we now arrive at the final test, the duel that will decide this year's champion of the trials.
The crowd erupted into cheers, the sound echoing through the Colosseum and shaking the very stones beneath their feet. The banners of Emberfall and Selenia waved proudly, their colors a vivid splash against the bright sky. Alice felt a shiver run through her as the seer raised a hand, silencing the throng.
This is no ordinary duel,
the seer continued, her tone grave. Her tone grave. Hold on.
This is no ordinary duel,
the seer continued, her tone grave.
The combatants standing before us have proven their worth time and again. They are warriors who embody the resilience and strength of their kingdoms. Now, they will face one another in a test of skill and resolve. This trial will end only when one admits defeat or can no longer continue.
From her place on the Divine Council's platform, Venta, the Skywatcher, gestured gracefully. Is it the same thing though? No. I hear something. It might still be the fan on the computer, but I should be able to block that out if it is. Gestured gracefully. Gestured gracefully, and the stone floor of the arena began to shift. The ground smoothed itself, erasing the scars of previous battles, creating an unblemished stage for what was to come. Alice's gaze shifted to the Divine Council as they moved. As they moved to their elevated seats overlooking. Okay, that was longer than I thought it was going to be. Alice's gaze shifted to the divine. Alice's gaze shifted to the divine council. To the divine council. To the divine council.
Hello, thank you for joining. Be sure to follow the Savanna Brown VO because that is also me.
What was to come? Alice's gaze shifted to the. Just don't judge me on this sentence because it's a doozy, apparently. Yay for speech impediments. Alice's gaze shifted to the Divine Council as they moved to their elevated seats overlooking the arena. Alice's gaze shifted to the Divine Council. Well, sure, now I can say when I'm not recording it. Alice's gaze shifted to the Divine Council as they moved to their elevated seats overlooking the arena. Yeah, I got it. Okay, sorry. You gotta celebrate when you get the ones that are acting now. Their forms radiated power. their presence a reminder of the sacred nature of the contest. Even the eliminated competitors, who had endured their own trials, took their places in the stands. Prigo, as smug as ever, lounged with the Keen's entourage. Did I say Keen's? Lounged with the Keen's I did. Lounged with the king's entourage, but his gaze was fixed on the arena. Alice couldn't shake the unease his presence always stirred in her.
In this final duel, the seer declared, we will see the culmination of their journeys. Jesta Valence of Selenia will face Vienna Host of Emberfall. Aww! You sent me your first ever gift. I love you.
I mean, I love you anyway, but you know. I kind of chose you. You're stuck with me forever. Wait, I have a fan club? What the fuck?
You're number 3.
But what the fuck? That is not one that I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, is that what the heart? Okay, that's what the heart thing is up there. Okay, I'm learning stuff. Okay.
Will face Vienna Host of Emberfall.
Well, of course you're a fan.
I am your mother or the othering.
The Colosseum erupted once more, cheers and chants rising like a wave as the two competitors stepped forward. Justa moved with the predatory grace that my mouth obviously doesn't have. Justa moved with the predatory grace that Alice had admired throughout the trials. Her piercing gaze locked on her opponent. Vienna's walk was no less composed, her sharp eyes scanning the arena as though already calculating her next move. The two warriors met in the center of their arena. Yeah, I did stumble over that. The two warriors met in the center of the arena. For a moment, they simply stood there, their eyes locked, the air between them charged with unspoken understanding. Then, as the crowd quieted, Jesta extended her hand. Vienna took it without hesitation, and they shook, a gesture of mutual respect that earned a fresh round of applause from both sides of the Colosseum. From her seat, Alice felt her chest swell with admiration. "They're incredible," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the noise. Dirk, seated beside her, nodded. I need to paste that better. Dirk, seated beside her, nodded. "This is what it means to be a warrior," he said. "Strength, tempered with respect." Before this... Oh, that's a different person speaking. Let's not give the speaker Dirk's voice. That'd be funny though. "Before this momentous clash begins."
Before this momentous clash begins, before the very fate of our world is put to the test, let us remember why we stand here.
The seer's voice deepened, her silver eyes gleaming as she addressed the hushed Colosseum.
150 years ago, Divinia faced its darkest hour. A great evil, known only as Malethrax, descended upon our world. Its purpose was unknowable, its destruction absolute. Malethrax did not wage war as men do, nor did it seek conquest. Instead, it turned the heavens themselves against us.
The seer paused, her gaze sweeping the silent crowd.
Fane and Tulo, the twin suns that bring us light and warmth, clashed in a fiery collision. Their brilliance turned destructive, raining flames upon the lands.
Oh. What was that?
Raining flames upon the land.
Yeah, my mic just popped. That was loud.
Raining flames upon the lands and scorching the skies. Lys and Zay, the twin moons that guide us through the night, were drawn into the chaos, colliding and shattering into fragments that plummeted to the earth. The heavens, once a source of stability and life, became the harbinger of death and ruin.
Alice shivered, her imagination conjuring the scene. Sorry. It's weird when I give myself goosebumps reading your things. The thought of Divinia torn apart by celestial forces sent a chill down her spine.
In this chaos,
Goosebumps reading your things. The thought of Divinia torn apart by celestial forces sent a chill down her spine.
in this chaos,
The seer continued, her voice tinged with sorrow.
the people of Divinia cried out for salvation, and the gods answered.
The mention of the gods sent a murmur through the crowd, but the seer raised a hand, silencing it.
Solarios, the blazed god of the sun, Lunarios, the serene goddess of the moon, and Ternus, the steadfast god of the earth, descended from the heavens. Their combined might was greater than any mortal could comprehend, yet even they struggled against the magnitude of the destruction. Together, they wove the celestial barrier, a divine shield that encased Divinia, halting the chaos and saving our world from annihilation.
The seer lifted her arms, her voice rising.
To create the barrier, the gods sent forth 12 beams of celestial energy, each representing a fragment of their power. These beams spiraled out, binding Phaon, Tulo, Lys, and Zay to their rightful paths. But their work was not finished. These 12 beams became more than light. They became the Divine Council, 12 immortal entities tasked with preserving the balance of our world. Meow. Oh, thank you for all the gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you, Hicks. I love you. Squid sister meets child. Child meets squid sister. 12 immortal entities tasked with preserving the balance of our world.
The crowd murmured in awe, the magnitude of the story sinking in.
With the
Sorry, my mic just picked up my stomach growling. I think I'm gonna need a burp in a second. I wish I could just make myself burp so I didn't have to do this all the time. Come on. I feel you, you bastard.
Yay, hugs.
Alright, well, I'm gonna have to pause in a minute whenever that thing decides to escape. The magnitude of the story sinking in.
With the heavens restored,
The seer said, her voice softening.
the Divine Council descended to the highest peaks of the
Ignis? Ignis. Ignis would be Ignis, right? Ignis Luna. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the shares. Do you guys think that IGNIS would be Ignis? IGNIS. Let me see, can I comment? I don't know if I can comment. It's being stupid. Turned off my light. It is IG. There we go. Ignis. Stand by to stand by. Are there any other words that are going to do that to me? Oniri. Okay, Ignis. That would be Oniri, Molothox. Okay. We're good. I mean, if nothing else, he can always just tell me, hey, you didn't get that one word right. Re-record it. And it'll be like, oh no.
The Divine Council descended to the highest peaks of the Ignis Luna mountain range. There they built Solaria, the shining kingdom that would stand as a beacon of hope and vigilance. For 5 years the council worked tirelessly, not just building a city, but forging a unity that would bind all the kingdoms of Divinia together.
Alice glanced at the competitors below, their faces solemn as they absorbed the story. The arena seemed to hold its breath as the seer continued.
But peace is never eternal,
she said, her silver eyes gleaming.
Dreamweaver, Oniri, was plagued by visions of a future shadowed by flames. In his dreams, he saw the return of Malathrax, the heavens aflame, and Divinia teetering on the brink of ruin once more. He foresaw armies clashing beneath darkened skies, and he knew the world must prepare. From his dreams, the trials were born.
What, they use normal words? Honestly, though, like, that's one of the things I like about fantasy worlds, though, is that, like, they do have their own languages and names sometimes, so it does feel, I guess, more legit. Like, this feels like it's not here. I mean, there's 2 moons, there's 2 suns, there's, like, I love it. I love it so much. And I'm so excited that this is my first audiobook. And I'm excited that the author's excited, and okay, sorry. I think my coffee's kicking in a bit.
I used to drink iced coffee.
Back into character.
The trials were born.
The seer's voice grew firmer, each word imbued with urgency.
Every year, champions from the kingdoms of Divinia come to Solaria to prove their worth in these sacred trials. The victor is granted divinity, an extension of life, and a fragment of celestial power, and joins the divine army, the force that will stand between Divinia and the shadows when they rise again. These trials are not a game, nor a contest for glory. They are a crucible. From them, we forge the warriors that will That will say the reader. That will so.
No, I don't need to listen to the whole bit I just recorded. I just need to listen to the last couple words, please.
This part. Just this part. From them.
There we go.
We forge the warriors who will safeguard our world.
Okay, does that sound smooth?
Are a crucible. From them. We forge the warrior.
Nope, that is not the same tone at all. Okay.
From them. We forge the warriors who will safeguard our world.
Right.
Are a crucible. From them. We forge the warrior.
Nope, that was too high. Alright, let's just take out the from them part. Because that's the part that's not matching.
They are a crucible. From them. We forge the warriors who will safeguard our world. They are a crucible. From them. We forge the warriors who will safeguard our world.
There we go. That blends better. Now the book won't have any moments. Fairly godparents. Sorry, fairy godparents. That's the line. Fairy godparents. That's what I think whenever I have a moment. It's the fairy godparents. Don't mind me. I'm a special kind of stupid sometimes.
But only sometimes.
Alright, let's see. She turned to the competitors, her gaze piercing.
Remember this. You do not fight for yourselves. You fight for all who call Divinia home. The gods saved us once, but they have entrusted us to save ourselves. The sky burst was a warning. When the shadow returns, Divinia will call upon its champions.
So I'm just making sure that the next few paragraphs are okay as far as like this speaking back and forthness goes. There's actually not a lot of speaking, so sweet. Because I have permission to go through and like alter the paragraph structure just for like ease of reading, and then I'll be sending it back to him so that he can get that updated before the Kindle release. Alright.
Divinia will call upon its champions.
The Colosseum was utterly silent. The crowd all present. Did I just say pleasant?
Every soul present.
I did. On every soul pleasant. Thank you, Rhoticism.
Silent.
The gravity of her words pressing down on every soul present. Above them, the twin suns and moons shone. Moons shone? Moons shone. The twin suns and moons shone. Is that too much of a sh?
Moons shone.
Good enough. Their light a reminder of both the gods' power and the fragility of the balance they maintained. Alice sat frozen, her chest tight with emotion. For the first time, she truly understood the enormity of the trials. This wasn't just a competition. It was a preparation for the survival of their world. Beside her, Dirk leaned forward.
Sorry, I got itch.
His voice low and solemn. These trials aren't just for today, Alice. They're for the tomorrow we may not live to see. Alice nodded, her eyes fixed on the arena. Her admiration for the competitor swelled.
Who would? I appreciate the presents.
If anybody is interested, I do have some things from the smiley place listed in my tree of links. Unfortunately, because of the new standards in Georgia, my stamps just got cut off. We are appealing because it's disability. I can't control the amount that I'm broken. But we have 3 lists in there. We have one that is basic groceries of like all sorts of stuff, and the prices in there range from 89 cents to god awful because of buying in bulk. Any assistance would be appreciated. The second one is just snacks and like lozenges and stuff for when I'm recording. That is not necessary, just would be nice. And then the third one is the panhandling list that I had last year. Last year the only thing that I got sent from that one was blankets, but we were able to hand out about 300 Mylar blankets to the homeless community during the coldest days of the year last year because of it. So any help on those is greatly appreciated. I start putting those together around November. But we don't really have anything this year so far except for some hand warmers. But again, anything is appreciated if anybody would like to donate to any of those causes. That thing. I didn't mean to flip you off. I swear I have a brain sometimes.
Anyway,
let's get back to what I'm actually supposed to be doing. Her admiration for the competitors swelled. You like the first one with the yeah. Is that a I fucking love you? If I only had a brain. Her admiration for the competitors swelled, mingling with a new and profound respect for the divine council and the gods who had saved Divinia. The story of the skyburst wasn't just history. It was a call to action, a reminder of what was at stake. As the 2 competitors stepped back to their positions, the seer's voice rang out one last time, her words clear and commanding.
Let the final trial begin.
The Colosseum erupted once more, and Alice felt the world narrow to the 2 figures. Around the 2 figures. Did once more. And Alice felt the world narrow around the 2 figures in the arena. The air was alive with anticipation. Every eye fixed on Jesta and Vienna as they readied themselves. This was it. The moment they had all been waiting for. What was that, throat? Waiting for. Alright. Alright. This was it. The moment they had all been waiting for. The arena floor seemed to vibrate with energy as Jesta and Vienna began circling each other. Their eyes locked in an unflinching stare. The crowd, moments ago... My Minus Walton came out. Let's not. Ow. Okay, I need to fix my headset a bit. Moments ago. Moments ago, a roaring wave of cheers had fallen into a tense silence. Every person in the Colosseum was transfixed, their anticipation as palpable. Their anticipation as palpable as... Where did my spot go? My eyes jumped.
Why?
Every person in the Colosseum was transfixed. Their anticipation as palpable as the heat radiating off. And in the Colosseum was transfixed. Their anticipation as palpable as the heat radiating off the sunlit stone. Jessup moved first, her body low and poised like a predator stalking his prey. Her blade gleamed as it slashed through the air, her attack quick and precise. Vienna stepped back just in time, her sword rising to meet Justa's in a ringing clash that echoed across the arena. The duel had begun. Justa spun away from Vienna's counterattack, her movements fluid and unpredictable. Her agility was mesmerizing, every step calculated to keep Vienna guessing. She darted forward again, her blade flashing toward Vienna in a flurry of strikes. Her blade... Her blade flashing towards Vienna in a flurry of strikes. Vienna met each blow with calm precision, her movements deliberate and steady. While Justice sought to overwhelm with speed, Vienna countered with measured timing, her sword a shield that deflected every attempt to break. With measured timing. Her sword a shield that deflected every attempt to break through her defense. The clash of steel created a rhythm, their duel a symphony of skill that captivated the audience. It was not brute force that defined their battle, but an intricate dance of strategy and finesse. Justa feinted left, her blade darting toward Vienna's side. At the last moment she twisted her wrist, aiming for Vienna's exposed shoulder. But Vienna was ready. She stepped into the attack, angling her sword to parry and using the momentum to push Justa back. The crowd cheered as the warriors broke apart, their gazes intense, their breathing quickened. Justa's eyes narrowed, her lips curled into a faint smile. Adjusting her stance, she began weaving unpredictably. Adjusting her stance, she began weaving unpredictably across the arena floor. Alice watched with wide eyes as Justa moved with such lightness it seemed as if her feet barely touched the ground. "Look at her," Alice whispered, her fingers gripping Dirk's arm tightly. "She's like a shadow." Dirk didn't take his eyes off of the fight. "She's trying to draw Vienna out. Watch what happens next." Sorry, my back is starting to protest. I just have to move a little bit. Okay. Justa lunged again, but her movements were deceptive, her blade weaving an intricate pattern that forced Vienna onto the... Her blade weaving an intricate pattern that forced Vienna onto the defensive. For a moment, it seemed Justa had the upper hand. Her strikes came faster, her blade a blur as it moved in and out of Vienna's guard. But Vienna's calm demeanor never wavered. She waited, her blade intercepting Justa's strikes with unwavering precision. Then, as Justa overcommitted to an aggressive swing, Vienna stepped into the attack, angling her body just enough to dodge the blade and deliver a counter-strike aimed at Justa's exposed side. Justa barely avoided the blow, leaping back with a grace that brought gasps from the audience. Did I stutter too much on that moment? Grace that brought gasps from the audience. If I remove that little... that brought gasps from the audience. Oh, sweet. Sounds natural without me having to re-record it. Awesome. Love when that happens. Her smile widened, her breath coming in quick bursts. Vienna shifted her grip on her sword, her stance tightening. She pressed forward, her strikes growing more assertive as she sought to break Justa's rhythm. Justa backpedaled, her agility allowing her to evade Vienna's precise strikes. But Vienna's persistence was relentless, her attacks coming with an efficiency that forced Justa to react faster and faster. The crowd's tension rose as the duel reached a fever pitch. Vienna's blade narrowly missed Justa's shoulder, and in a desperate bid to regain control, Justa leapt onto one of the low stone formations that dotted the arena floor. From her elevated position, she launched herself at Vienna, her blade descending in a powerful arc. Vienna sidestepped at the last possible moment, raising her sword to parry and twisting her body. Sorry. Weird spot for the page break. Twisting her body to deliver a sweeping kick that caught Justa off balance. Okay, if I delete that part, does it sound natural? Body to deliver a sweeping kick that caught Justa off balance.
Damn, I'm good.
Sorry. Justa hit the ground and rolled, coming up on one knee with her blade raised defensively. The crowd erupted in cheers, their applause a thunderous wave of approval for the display of skill. Alice was on the edge of her seat, her heart pounding as she watched the fight unfold. "They're incredible," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the noise of the crowd. Dirk, seated beside her, nodded slowly. His eyes remained fixed on the arena. "This is what the trials are meant to show." I stumbled over that. Body to deliver. This is what the trials are meant to show, he said. Not just strength, but discipline and heart. They're fighting for more than themselves. Alice glanced at her father, his words deepening her admiration for the competitors. But discipline and heart. They're fighting for more than themselves. Alice glanced at her father, his words deepening her admiration for the competitors. She turned back to the fight, her gaze locked on Justa and Vienna as they circled each other once more. Both warriors were breathing heavily now, their movements slowing as fatigue began to set in.
Sorry, I gotta get you.
It keeps telling me to invite people. I'm not going to invite people to my live because I'm trying to record something, and anybody talking wouldn't be really conducive to a really good audiobook. Well, other than me, obviously, because, I was the one hired to do it. But, yeah.
Hi, people.
Okay.
Bleh.
Okay. Justa darted forward suddenly, aiming a low slash at Vienna's legs. Vienna jumped back, her own blade slicing through the air towards Justa's exposed arm. Justa twisted, the blade grazing her armor. Sorry, air bubble. Yeah, I think that's it. Justa twisted. The blade grazing her armor, but failing to land a solid blow. To gland? Solid blow. Solid blow. Of course I said gland. Twisted. Yo, what's up? Wasn't on my door. Okay, cool. That's one thing, is that I can hear everything. So I think somebody knocked on the main bathroom door, and it sounded like it was on my door because this thing is freaking amazing. But at the same time, that can be frustrating.
Anyways,
Just a twisted. Twisted. Where is twisted? The blade grazing her armor but failing to land a solid blow. She retaliated with a spinning strike that forced Vienna to backpedal, her foot catching slightly on the uneven ground. Seizing the moment, Jesta pressed her advantage. Her blade was... It is whistling. Okay. My brain saw whistling and whittling at the same time, and it couldn't figure out which one it wanted to say. Her blade whistling as it carved through the air. Vienna ducked beneath one strike and sidestepped another. Sidestepped? Sidestepped another. Through the air. Vienna ducked beneath one strike and sidestepped another, her movements deliberate as she waited for an opening. The sweat glistened. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. So my mouth doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. The sweat glistened on their brows, their breaths coming in heavy puffs as the fight wore on. Jesta attempted another feint, her sword angling for Vienna's chest before flicking downward toward her thigh. Vienna saw through the move and countered swiftly, their blades meeting with a jarring clang that sent vibrations through their arms. Jesta gritted her teeth and pushed forward, but Vienna held her ground, their locked blades trembling with the force of their wills. The arena felt charged with energy, the crowd's cheers and gasps blending into a symphony of awe. Each strike, parry, and dodge carried the weight of their training, their determination, and the stakes of this final trial. As the battle raged on, neither competitor showed signs of conceding. Hello. Hello. If anybody's even watching on the other ones, I have no idea if you are, because I cannot see your chats. I will try to figure out how to do that. And I apologize. As the battle raged on, neither competitor showed signs of conceding. They were evenly matched, their strengths and weaknesses playing off each other in a breathtaking display of skill and perseverance. Every move was met with a counter, every tactic with an answer. The fight stretched on, the tension mounting with each passing second, the outcome uncertain as ever. Sorry, my mouth started watering too. The battle had become a testament to endurance and sheer willpower. The hour-long duel had taken its toll on both warriors, their once fluid movements now punctuated by movements of visible strain. Every swing of their blades seemed heavier, every dodge more labored, as they pushed themselves past their limits. Yet neither Vienna nor Jesta gave an inch, their determination unwavering. I'm not inviting people as a guest. Jesta, ever the risk-taker, saw an opening, or at least what she thought was one. With a shout that echoed through the arena, she lunged forward, her blade arcing in a powerful strike aimed directly at Vienna's torso. It was a gamble, one that required every ounce of her remaining strength. Vienna's eyes narrowed. She didn't flinch. As Jesta's blade neared, she sidestepped with a precision that spoke to her years of discipline and training. just as sword sliced through empty air, her momentum carrying her too far forward. For the first time she stumbled, her balance faltering. The crowd gasped as Justa tried to recover, but Vienna was already moving. With a swift, calculated motion, she pivoted and swept Justice out. Legs out. She pivoted and swept Justa's legs out from under her. Justa hit the ground hard. Her sword. Her sword skittering out of reach across the stone floor. The arena erupted into cheers, the sound deafening. But Vienna didn't pause to bask in the moment. She stepped forward, her blade steady as she lowered it to Justice's throat. The sunlight caught the edge of the weapon, casting a gleaming line across Justice's defeated form. Vienna's eyes, sharp and focused, bore into Justice. Despite the ferocity of the battle, there was no malice in her gaze, only respect, and a quiet acknowledgement of her opponent's skill. For a moment, Justa lay there, her chest heaving as she caught her breath. Her chest heaving as she caught her breath. Then a chuckle bubbled from her lips, surprising both Vienna and the crowd. Oh wait, what's her voice like? Justa. Cool, calm, collected. That's right. You win, she said simply, her tone light, even amused. With a faint smile, she raised her hands in surrender. In surrender. I might have to stop soon. My R's are becoming worse. Even amused. With a faint smile, she raised her hands in surrender and let her head rest back against the stone floor. Vienna stepped back, lowering her sword as Justa relinquished her weapon. The crowd erupted into an even greater roar, the chants of "Vienna! Vienna!" echoing throughout the Colosseum. It was a sound that seemed to shake the very walls, a chorus of admiration and triumph that surged like a wave. In the stands, Alice leapt to her feet. Not leapt, leaped. Alice leaped to her feet, her hands cupped around her mouth as she shouted. Her hands cupped around her mouth as she shouted Vienna's name. Her voice rose above the cacophony, filled with unbridled excitement and awe. She turned to Dirk, her eyes filled with joy. "She did it, Dad! She really did it!" Dirk chuckled at her enthusiasm, a rare smile softening his typically stern features. "She earned it," he said simply, his deep voice steady with approval. "That was a fight worth remembering." Justa pushed herself up slowly, waving off the medics who approached. She brushed a stray strand of hair from her face as she walked over to Vienna, her steps unhurried despite her defeat. When she reached her, she extended a hand, her expression one of genuine respect. "You fought well," Justa said, her voice carrying over the noise of the crowd. Vienna hesitated for a moment. Then clasped Justa's hand firmly. "So did you," she replied, her tone equally sincere. The exchange between the two warriors earned a fresh wave of applause from the audience, their display of sportsmanship of fitting into such a monumental battle. Together, they turned to face the Divine Council, who had risen from their seats, their ethereal forms bathed in the glow of the twin suns. The Colosseum buzzed with electric energy as the seer raised her hands, silencing the crowd. The excitement of the moment shifted into reverent anticipation as she energy as the seer raised her hands, silencing the crowd. The excitement of the moment shifted into reverent anticipation as she stepped forward. Her gaze swept across the arena, finally settling on Digesta Valence, who stood tall despite her defeat.
Let us honor Digesta Valence of Selenia,
the seer began, her voice warm and resonant.
Your valor, skill, and grace in these trials have inspired all who have witnessed them. Though your journey ends here, your name will live on among Selenia's greatest warriors.
A wave of applause swept through the Colosseum, the crowd's cheers echoing into the sky. Gesta offered a slight bow, her composure unwavering, her pride clear in the way she carried herself. The Selenian section erupted in chants of her name, their devotion unmistakable. The seer then turned to Vienna Host, who stood at the center of the arena. The roar of the crowd quieted, anticipation crackling in the air.
And now,
the seer said, her voice carrying a reverent weight,
we crown our champion.
Vienna straightened, her green eyes steady as she awaited the seer's declaration.
Vienna Host of Imberfall, the paralleled skill, and a protector of unity and hope. Through these trials, you have risen above all others. Today, you are no longer just a competitor. Today, you are our champion.
The crowd exploded into cheers, their chants of Vienna, Vienna, shaking the very stones of the Colosseum. In the stands, Imberfall's supporters erupted with pride, their banners waving high. Alice jumped to her feet, clapping and shouting louder than anyone around her. Beside her, Dirk Lauderer smiled across his face as he watched the celebration unfold. From their elevated seats, the Divine Council descended with solemn grace, their movements synchronized and purposeful. The 12 figures surrounded Vienna, their auras resonating with quiet authority. Aeon, the timekeeper. That should be Eon. Should it be Eon? It just says the timekeeper. It doesn't have the pronunciation of his name. Okay. Excuse me. Apologies. I think it should be Eon. Eon, the timekeeper, was the first to step forward. His golden presence seemed to stretch across eternity as he placed his hand on Vienna's shoulder. And his is... let's see... slow... May you carry the wisdom of the ages, he said, his tone steady and timeless. Varuna, the Tideweaver, followed, his presence fluid and calm, his touch as soothing as the ocean's embrace. Let balance and adaptability guide your path. Venta, the Sky Watcher, moved next, his storm-gray eyes filled with purpose. He placed his hand briefly on Vienna's other shoulder. Move with clarity and purpose, like the wind itself. Calor, the flame-bearer, Calor, the flame-bearer, approached, his aura warm and invigorating. His touch imparted resilience and passion as he added his blessing. Felrum, the Stoneheart, was next, his presence steady and grounded. His words carried strength and endurance. Amate, that's her. Who's in here at the moment? Hey, little miss, question. AMATE, female warden of light. Would it be Amate? Here it's spelled Amate. What do you think? Amate. Is that how you would have pronounced it? Amate. The description is the Warden of Light. So she's one of the Divine Council. It's essentially an immortal being that's all woo, mysterious and shit. So would it be Amate, do you think? Because I don't have a list of how to pronounce their names, just the main characters. But with it being the Warden of Light, I don't know if you'll be able to find anything, because, like, he made up... I'm fairly certain the council is his own brain baby. I don't know what they're laughing about, but yeah.
But I appreciate you.
Okay, 5 pages left of this chapter. It does show up? Amate? Amate? Alright. Amate, the Warden of Light. Okay. Amate. Amate. Amate, the Warden of Light, stepped forward, her radiant glow emphasizing justice and truth. Nox, the Shadow Keeper, whispered of adaptability and unseen power within. Sani, the Life-Bringer, laid his hands gently on Vienna, his blessing one of renewal and vitality. Lethus, the Voice of the Earth, touched Vienna with a grounding presence, speaking of unity and rooted strength. Oniri, the Dreamweaver. Weather? Really, brain? Oniri, the Dreamweaver, offered a vision for the future, his words filled with purpose and hope. Next, the Harbinger, with a somber presence, reminded Vienna of her duty to protect life's fragile balance. Finally, the Seer stepped forward, completing the circle. She placed his hands on... That should be he. I know I said I wouldn't change any words, but I'm going to change that one. Because I don't think Vienna took the Seer's hands to put them on her own shoulders. Put that back in viewing mode. Because yeah, that's totally it.
Oh, I just now became divine. Let me just touch you, okay?
And this phone just said my battery may run out soon. Let me plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Okay, plugged in. All right. And you are full, so let me unplug you so I don't run that battery. All right. All right.
Why are you dying? You're not allowed to die. It's too much paperwork and I would miss you.
She placed his hands on... Oh.
You're not allowed to die.
If the phone does, I don't care. It's not even my phone. It's the boyfriend's. Technically, he has my old phone now. So, yeah. It was still an upgrade, though. Completing the circle. He placed his hands on Vienna's shoulders, his silver eyes glowing faintly as he spoke. A soft light enveloped Vienna, her form shimmering with an otherworldly glow. The transformation was subtle, yet undeniable. Vienna stood taller, her presence commanding and serene. Her auburn hair gleamed in the sunlight, her green eyes holding a newfound depth of power and purpose. Her armor seemed to radiate with an ethereal glow, as though it had been reforged in the light of the heavens. The crowd roared. The crowd roared in approval. Hello. I am the monster. Light of the heavens. Have you watched Epic yet? I sent you the link. You need to watch it. Like, for serious. Is that a no? Glare. Light of the heavens. The crowd roared in approval, their chants of Vienna, Vienna, filling the air. Vienna, filling the air. Okay, but you don't have to actually watch it. You can just have it in the background. It's just 2.5 hours of amazing music. I'm an adult. Anyway. Vienna raised her sword high, acknowledging the crowd with a calm and resolute expression. From her seat, Alice's heart swelled with pride. She looks like she belongs with the Divine Council, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Shoot. I mean, true. I mean, after. Because I'm probably going to just do the rest of this chapter and then go, because, like, I'm having a hard time with the pronunciations at the moment. My muscles are like, I don't want to collaborate. Filled with pride. Voice thick with emotion. She looks like she belongs with the Divine Council, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Dirk placed a hand on her shoulder, his gaze steady. She earned her place. That's what these trials are about. Trials are about. Trials are about. That's what these trials are about. The seer's voice carried over the crowd one final time. Okay, the seer is a girl. I thought so. Why did I... Okay. So I need to refix it. And change it to her hands. Edit. So I was right. It was wrong. It was just wrong for the wrong. You meant what I knew. Placed her hands on Vienna's shoulders. And I need to redo that sentence now. Alright. Tracks, add new monotrack. Raised her sword high. Placed his hands on Vienna's shoulder. Right there. He placed his hands on Okay, I put a mark on the second track so that I know where to re-record that sentence. Okay. Put one final time. Okay.
Fixed.
Her silver eyes shimmering with pride and reverence.
Tonight, we gather not only to honor Vienna Host, our champion.
Someone just tried to fly up my nose, but it did not succeed. What are we yelling about?
The keys.
Oh, okay.
Because, sister. And then I told her, I told,
I'm still alive, just so you know.
oh, I'm sorry. I told Sophie.
You are witnessed.
I told Sophie that her, noodles weren't spinning because she was trying to put them in the microwave, and she just put them in there and moved the plate, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it happens. Oh, just so that you know, whenever I get, like, the ramen that I can eat, I'm hiding that shit.
I hope so.
It's too expensive.
Like I said, it was funny that they waited to ask for ramen.
Our
until,
champion.
like, you ran out.
Yeah. It's like, when I pay for 2, I can get 12 for everyone else. Stashed. Yes, definitely stashed. Okay.
Our champion.
Understand, this woman has a stash of snacks everywhere.
I'm running dangerously low on everything. I'm out of almost everything.
Fair.
This is why I have a stash of snacks, because everybody else goes through them super quick. I haven't bought snacks for the house in like 2 months, and I'm just now running low.
Host, our champion.
Okay.
When I'm done with this chapter, I'll be done with Arbrathon, because my mouth is starting to bleed.
Okay, maybe we'll be back with a
Where are you going?
comic book store.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Love it.
Novel.
Just in case we get pulled over. Grandpa, what?
You're supposed to have your wallet whenever you leave the house.
Yes, that's the one.
The host, our champion. But also the courage, skill, and unity displayed by all who stood in these trials. A grand feast will be held in Solaria's temple, where both kingdoms shall come together to celebrate this momentous occasion. The crowd erupted into applause, their excitement undiminished as the undiminished. I said undiminished. The crowd erupted into applause, their excitement undiminished as the promise of what the fuck, mouth? Into applause. Yeah. Frog blink. I practiced it way too much that it kind of happens naturally now. Well, no, those were like completely like cognizant ones, but bit into applause. Their excitement undiminished as the promise of festivities hung in the air. Spectators began to disperse, their voices a chorus of discussions about the duel and Vienna's triumph.
The energy of the day lingered like a charged current, sparking animated debates, heartfelt praise, and eager anticipation for the night ahead. The Emberfall company moved as one through the throng, their camaraderie palpable. Vienna walked ahead with the divine council, her aura now that of someone who had transcended the ordinary. Her every step seemed purposeful, her head held high. The weight of her victory settled on her shoulders. Alice couldn't take her eyes off her. The image of Vienna standing victorious etched vividly in her mind. Did I just say vividly? Victorious etched vividly in her mind. I did. Victorious etched vividly in her mind. Off her. The image of Vienna standing victorious etched vividly in her mind. She's unbelievable, Alice said, practically bouncing with excitement. Right? Fucking right? Well, depends on the scenario. In her mind. She's unbelievable, Alice said, practically bouncing with excitement as she turned to Dirk. Did you see that last move? The sweep? And the way that she didn't even hesitate when she had Jester at her mercy? What? I'm sweet and innocent. At her mercy? Dirk chuckled, his usual stoicism softened by his daughter's enthusiasm. She's earned her place, Alice. That's the kind of composure and strength you strive for, not just in battle, but in everything. The eliminated Emberfall competitors joined in, their spirits high despite the fatigue of the trials. They shared laughs and light-hearted jabs, recounting their own performances with pride and humility. Prigo, as always, remained apart, walking ahead with the king's entourage, his posture exuding his trademark arrogance. His laughter, audible? Good job, brain. Audible even from a distance, grated on Alice's nerves. But she resisted the urge to react, focusing instead on the warmth of her own company. As they reached their quarters, the sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting the city of Solaria in a warm, golden glow. The Emberfall quarters hummed with the activity of preparations for the evening. Competitors polished their armor, cleaned their weapons, and exchanged stories of the day's events, their pride in Vienna unspoken but evident in their every word. Dirk placed a hand on Alice's shoulder as they stood at the entrance. "Go get ready, kid," he said with a rare smile. "We've got the party to attend." Alice grinned, her face alight with excitement. "I'm going to wear my best tunic," she declared, already darting off toward her room. She stopped midway, turning to throw her arms around Dirk in a quick, tight hug. "We did so well, Dad." Dirk returned. Dirk returned the embrace with a firm squeeze, his voice steady. "Yes, we did, Alice. Now hurry up. We can't be late." Did I just say can't? We can't be late. I did. I went full British. We can't be late. That creaked. Let me redo the whole thing. Hold on. Voice steady. "Yes, we did, Alice. Now hurry up. We can't be late." "Yes, we did, Alice. Now hurry up. We can't be late." And thus concludes Chapter 13. The final trial. If I could remember how to type, apparently. Alright. So that is done. It has been nice. But I'm going to go ahead and her house is hype, apparently. Alright. So that is done. It has been nice.